Hey, what's your problem? You have business problems? We have business solutions.
Possibly.
Well, maybe.
Right.
Life is a fight.
It is.
In business, every day is a fight.
Oh, yeah.
So, hey, what's your problem?
Yes, thank you, John David Wells, as always. He's the big voice guy for the show. Check him out at the Wells Report. He's relaunched it because he's taken a little bit of a hiatus, but he's back. And had a conversation with him, and turns out for the past 5-10 years that he's been doing his show, he's never made it into a podcast. I'm going, JD, come on. What are you thinking? You're a radio guy. You should know these things. Check him out, Wells Report. This is the What's Your Problem podcast, where we talk to Middle Tennessee business owners and professionals all about their businesses and the one thing that keeps them up at night. It's always something. It really is. Always. This is a video and audio podcast. Check us out. Go to whatsyourproblempodcast.com, where you can watch and subscribe, share, rate. This is the year. 10,000 average downloads per episode. Still shooting for that number, which means that if we shoot for the moon and land on the roof, perfect. I am your host, Jim McCarthy, with JimMcCarthyVoiceovers.com, and today, a revisiting guest, Mrs. CareyAnn Cyr.
Yes.
CA,
The CA, love it.
Yes. Is we going to come up with a new moniker for you? Maybe the CA, the real CA?
Oh, well,
You
the
like
real
that?
CA, please stand up.
Yeah. That
Hey.
seems to be the thing with the thought leaders out there. They like to put the real in front of it, right?
I've been real.
You've been very real. Your Mortgages by CareyAnn on Instagram.
I am. Mm-hmm.
And you dominate Facebook every single day. Motivational quotes. And
Try to do all the things.
yeah, there we go. So a little bit of change since the last time you've been on. We've got something called the Dad Joke Challenge.
Ooh, it's a dad joke challenge. What about the mom joke
Why
challenge?
do they call it? Don't they have mom jokes?
I don't know. I've got a lot of them.
You like a good laugh like anybody else.
I love a good belly laugh for sure.
Yes. So the Dad Joke Challenge is brought to you by Trade Bank. Mr. Edward Fox is actually voicing and gives us the dad jokes because he's a huge dad joke fan. He's got several books on Amazon, Grown-tastic dad jokes.
Ooh.
But if you need like an economy where things are kind of topsy-turvy and maybe tightening up, maybe not, and you've got unsold inventory or services aren't moving as much as you thought, try Trade. It's what it's there for. It's an interesting little concept. Check them out, tradebankofnashville.com. Okay, here we go. First joke, CareyAnn, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
What you got?
How did the nucleus escape from prison? Through the cell wall.
Oh, God.
Yeah. They were,
Oh, uh-huh.
do I have something here? Okay, I don't. There we go.
What you
Sometimes
got?
the thing.
That was a good one.
Question number 2, or joke number 2.
What kind of tea is sometimes hard to swallow? Reality.
He's good at this stuff.
Yes, that's a good one.
He's got a knack for it. Number 3.
My friend's bread shop burned down. I guess you could say his business is toast.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That was my breakfast this morning, actually.
Toast?
Meaning
There you go.
burnt toast,
Burnt
for that
toast.
matter. That's one
Hey.
thing. That would be one of my big problems.
This is at the point where the guests wonder, when is this going to end? We're almost there.
Okay.
What did Sushi A say to Sushi B? Wasabi?
Oh, gosh, that's a good one.
That was a good one.
That was a good one.
All right.
Did you hear about the prison that's allowing prisoners to take their own mugshots from their cell? Yeah, they're calling them selfies.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. There you go. Only 5.
Only 5.
We'll spare you with 5.
That's okay. They were good, though.
They were funny. So there you go, the Dad Joke Challenge. Typically we score them, but
Okay.
we never
I think
keep scoring.
the wasabi
anyway, so-
one was good.
Yeah, that wasabi one was good. There you go. Check them out. Dad Joke Challenge, Trade Bank of Nashville with Mr. Ed Fox. All the links in the description. Go check it out.
Thank you, Ed.
Yeah, Ed's a good guy. If you ever got to meet that guy, he's an enigma for sure. I always tell him that he missed his calling to be a pitch man like Billy Mays.
Oh,
He should have done that. So here we are again, and a lot has happened since you've. The last time I knew, you went out to Vegas and saw Gary Vaynerchuk talk about the 20 to 25 pieces of content we need to be putting out every day. And you've been taking it. You kind of taking him up on his challenge. I've been seeing, right?
Well, I mean, we've got to do all the things. We've got to be present. We've got to be there. there's just one of the biggest problems in life, I think, is there's just not enough time in the day, so we just got to keep going. And I think you reconnect with so many people depending upon what you share out there, in the universe. And so whether it's those moms or those business owners or those people that are deciding that 2023 is going to be their best year ever with getting healthy physically and mentally, or just some of those folks that just want a little help with being encouraged and motivated to continue to do all the things within their business. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there's always the little things that pop up. We take a lot of, we take big bites at the beginning of the year. We know it's going to be our year. But then, okay, the year goes, fine. Let's see how committed you are to that.
Yeah.
Let's just punch you right in the face right out the gate and see what happens. I mean, does that happen to you? I think you're pretty realistic about the goals you set. But
this year was a little different for me. I've been really blessed with business. It continues to grow, although the market is going to dictate that. And so I kind of, this year, I said it's going to be my best year ever for different reasons, maybe not for career. And I feel like my career is still going to be outstanding. But, I'm really focused for many years. It's always been about business, and not about my mental health and my physical health and different things, and trying to focus on my daughter and what's important, in life. And that's been my main focus this year. And we're moving on to the 5th month. And it's been a journey for sure. And I'm excited because it's going to be my best year ever for different reasons. And I do think when we start to focus maybe on ourselves and not that it's selfish. Initially, I don't like things about myself because I feel like it's a selfish move. I'm all about trying to serve and help another. And so this has been a journey, teaming up with other professionals to help me with that journey has allowed me to see even more opportunity boost and grow within my business too. So who knew that this may end up being one of my best years ever from a business standpoint too, but that was not the initial plan of attack.
See, in my year, I've gone frantic with all the output as well. I've really amped up my clip production of my podcast and just pushing it out there.
So amazing.
Yeah, but with all the podcasts I've been onboarding, it's kind of like, the cobbler's shoes scenario. Everything with me falls by the wayside. So I've actually hired somebody to, here's the clips, just here is everything, all access to my socials. Go put them up.
Just do, yeah.
Because I was doing it for a while, and it just eats your lunch in time. Are you doing all that yourself still? Or do you have somebody helping you out?
Yeah, so I've had a media crew or team that is small and mighty, but I realized that at the end of the day, you want to have something from me. So it's going to look like it's from me. It's going to sound like it's from me. I had some people type up my social posts and things like that, and it just wasn't CareyAnn.
Right.
And so I've decided just to take on that myself, which is semi full-time job. You find if you can't sleep through the night, you're up figuring out your next post, or I love right now, I'm in the mortgage world, right? All things mortgages and serving the community with residential mortgage financing. And so one of the things I love to do is share the stories of how we were able to help family A or B. And it takes a second to write those, and I write all those myself. So,
and you got to make them almost different for each platform as well. Or do you kind of just make them?
Yeah, so you referenced earlier that I'm the queen of Facebook. I am over a certain age, which not to say that you're not my friend, but I have just not embraced all the other platforms as much as I think I should. And so Facebook, knowing who my audience is, and I think that's a really important thing when we're working with business, right? So who is my audience, and where am I going to capture my best bang for my dollar when it comes to my audience? And so I'm looking for not a consumer. My main focus is that referral partner, that real estate agent between age blank and blank. And that's most likely going to be found on Facebook. And so I really focus a lot on Facebook. Now I dabble into Instagram the best I can with a reel or two. And I get help with that, which I'm grateful for with my amazing team. But I haven't even dabbled into the other platforms. So really Facebook is the one that's been so rewarding for me. I've been able to serve so much of my local community within the real estate industry through Facebook. So I'm grateful for them.
But on a local basis, that's where a lot of your power comes from. your return, I guess, with the local markets.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Mhm.
But you're expanding into other regional areas, right?
Yeah, and so as the world turns, I guess, per se, I'm growing and expanding and finding opportunities wherever they may be. And so that's all from Texas all the way up to Maine. So I kind of do the whole sweep up on the East Coast side, and then from Alabama all the way up the north side. So I feel like we're hitting a lot of the states and being available for many folks when it comes to the mortgage financing.
Well, I saw recently you got the verification blue check on Facebook.
Oh,
right?
Check that out. I'm not sure how I got that.
But you got a big following on Facebook. You just got the Instagram audience, I would imagine, it's probably got a broader reach regionally, I would say. I mean,
possibly, yeah. I mean, I think who's your audience, right? And so I think you get maybe consumers. So what I post on Instagram is more consumer direct. What I post on social media is more referral partner direct. And so, yes, I definitely, I'm really proud of my 1,500 followers that have taken me forever. It's a slow process when it comes to that. And I'm not putting as much effort as I possibly should, but at the end of the day, serving our community and serving our referral partners and not focused on social is really what I'm all about. So, if something happens on that platform, that's great.
And for those, because I completely made a podcast faux pas and I didn't actually tell everybody what you do. I said you do mortgages, but you're with CMG Financial. That's your thing. You started it here. And MyMortgageTeam.
Yeah, so I'm really proud. Almost July, I think, would be 10 years.
Oh my goodness.
So I had my little one in February 10 years ago, and I had
Started a business.
Yeah, and decided to join forces with an amazing organization out of California and brought them here with a business partner at the time 10 full years ago. And so really proud of that. And we've been continuing to grow and building market share and doing all the things. And what I love is they are just a engine behind me to really allow me to do what I do best, which is get out there, share the message, make an impact and a difference, within the community. So yes, and I built a team within that called CareyAnn MyMortgageTeam. It's like Benny and the Jets, CareyAnn MyMortgageTeam. And so we are a fierce group of people with 40 plus years of experience, really talented. And I love that. And I also do something really amazing, and I mentor and coach some local originators, about 20 now within the organization. So
do you enjoy doing that, the mentoring, coaching?
Yeah, I love that. Back in the day, way back in the day when I started. So I was a young singer, so I kind of dabbled into that, and my parents were always like, "You need an education." I thought I wanted to be a school teacher, and so I started school for education, and then music kind of took off, and that led me to Music City here, which was great. But I think that I really always had a passion for education and mentorship and coaching, and so now I get to do that within the origination world. So it's a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. And for me, we even like with voiceover, I get a lot of inquiries from people that want to be coached in voiceover.
Yeah.
And the reason why I asked that question, I'll do it, but it's not something that I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to, talk to somebody new in voiceover again.
Yeah. I think, right. I don't know. I think I've been doing it for 22 years now. Yeah. It's a long time. And it's exciting to see the fire in somebody else's eyes about something that I've been so super passionate about. And to see, especially if they work with me or work underneath my organization, it's amazing to see somebody who's been only serving so many people and now they're serving even more and just really soaring within their career with all the things that we talk about and train on.
And that's something that you're really going to start pursuing on more of a full-time basis.
I moved to Nashville on stage. It would be kind of cool to get back on stage for maybe not singing, but for doing other things. That's a passion of mine that I love. But again, I just, one of my specialties is just, I'm the loan whisperer. I just know how to get loans approved, mortgage financing loans. And so I really enjoy that part. But, you never know where the world would take me.
You come in at the last minute. That is kind of your niche where other mortgage companies give up. You're like, no, let me take a look at it. Let me see if I can make this happen.
Yeah, I always say, my mom always told me, it's easy to say, no. You just gotta take the time to figure out the yes, and you can do anything you put your mind to, is what I always say, especially right now with my 10-year-old. But there's possibly a way. You got to strip those loans down and kind of rebuild them the right way. And to think that I just take one borrower off, or we don't use one of their jobs, or we boost their credit score by 2 points, we're not talking crazy things. Now, people think it's magic, and I twiddle my nose and I have a magic wand, and that's completely fine from the branding standpoint.
Let 'em think it.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's just having the knowledge behind the scenes and knowing the guidelines inside and out. You can be great at your job, and you can be 22 years plus in your job, and you think you know everything. I don't know everything. I learn something new each and every day. I find that I study my craft at least 2 hours a week just on my craft, which I think really makes me stand out from the rest. And I really try to coach and mentor people to do that. A lot of people just do this job and wing it. You can't do any job and just wing it. From a voiceover, you're amazing. I hear you in the middle of the night.
I know. I'm on all the lawyer commercials.
I love it all. I'm like, why is Jim in my bedroom? Why do I hear his voice in my dreams, type of thing?
In a figurative sense, okay?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I can't sleep, right? And so the TV's on constantly. And so I'm like, why is he talking about cancer drugs or something, type of thing?
If you have mesothelioma.
Yeah, there it is. That's it.
You are a loved one.
I love it. But you got that, right? That is your lane. You're so talented at that. And that's one thing. I think if we all just stay in our lanes and we stay and do what we're so talented at, I think we can really make a huge difference out there.
And the thing is, with coaching and training, I stumble upon things that I learn from training and coaching myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's funny how you'll be coaching somebody and they'll have a nuance. Like I kind of came up with the whole notion of affirmative versus suggestive tones in voiceover. And it's kind of one of the things I always talk about. It's one of the first things we always talk about with people new to the business. Mm-hmm. It's not really a fundamental, but it's just something I discovered that, wow, this is something that everybody does. They go to a suggestive tone, and we got to kind of crank the affirmative tones in these approaches into interpreting copy.
Sure.
And I learn like every single time. I'm like, oh my gosh, I never even thought about it that way.
Yeah.
Does that happen to you a lot when you're coaching people?
Yeah, I think it triggers ideas, right? Mm-hmm. It triggers, oh, goodness, or something I forgot that I can bring back into my everyday. I think that's huge. I get to, and I'm blessed to talk with people from, the East Coast all the way to Hawaii. And they're all doing the same thing. At the end of the day, they're trying to serve somebody within their community for residential mortgage financing. So how do you talk to more? How do you connect with more? How do you build rapport with more, right? How do you have the best event that doesn't cost you, the most money, type of thing? And so, it brings back some things that we knew back in the day. And it's kind of comical. I giggle because, I think you can kind of see what's on the top of my shoulder here. It's called a shoulder pad.
Right.
Yeah, those are all coming back. The bangles are coming back. History repeats itself, right? So what we used to do is now some of the things we're doing today, which is kind of cool. And it's kind of the old school methods, and we're dabbling into some new school, with some technology. And I know you brought to my attention, the chat AI.
I just used it.
Yeah, and that's something that you brought to me, and it's amazing when you continue to talk to people and share more, they're sharing more, and you're all able to level up together, which I think is huge.
Absolutely. For somebody getting into the business mortgages, what are they facing these days? What are the big challenges? How do they, do you remember, what should they be keeping in mind?
I think, so I fell into the mortgage business back in the day. It was a challenge for me. I fell way at the bottom. And I was able to learn the mortgage business, I think, the right way. What is a mortgage, right? How do you take an application? How do you input the application? All the things from the proper standpoint. How do you communicate this correctly? How do you sell a mortgage, whether they're going left, right, up, down, all the things? How do you provide the most cost-efficient opportunities, for the consumer? So many people jump into this business, possibly for the wrong reasons. Maybe they heard you can make some good money at it. I'm blind in one eye because of this business. I have been.
It takes its toll.
I mean, there's been a lot of ups and downs within this business. '08 hit. Really proud to still be sitting today, which I can't touch the floor because I'm so short.
Right.
But still standing here today and made it through, those times. There's people that have been just in the business and they jump into the sales side where I fell into the ops side. So I learned all things, the background, right? How to create the best loan. So the people that are moving into this business, I think it's exciting. It's a great business to be in. It's so rewarding. We are able to serve so many and really make a difference. I mean, I get goosebumps every day because that person possibly was told no down the street and I'm able to provide them an opportunity to become a homeowner. It's a real win. The person that calls us and they trust us fully on a closing date, it's important, right? I mean, it's not just a job. It's I think a really, really important job. But I think you should jump in it for the right reasons. I think you should take the time to learn the craft. You should not assume that you can be super successful just because of sales. You should understand the why behind every move you make because that's going to make you even better. Don't be the hare, be the tortoise. This is a long career. And I've been just super grateful for mine.
That reminds me, like even back going into the car business, I understood it was going to be a difficult run.
Sure, yeah.
So you're saying a lot of people go into the mortgage real estate, and I hear you and Monty talk about it with their, they just think it's going to be like they see on TV, right? Well,
yeah. I mean, the certain cable channels, make it seem really Hollywood-like.
You're done.
Yeah, and glorious. I don't know. I really don't know how real estate agents do it. Ours is a very difficult job as well. We have to probably talk to 5 to their 1. And so we have to serve even more families, in comparison from what we're looking, to do from a compensation standpoint. But it's not about that. It's just about doing a really good job each and every day and being able to compound that, to possibly become more efficient or make the experience more enjoyable, or close a little faster, all the things there. But yeah, I mean, I just try to remind people, just take a moment, slow down, build your foundation, because there's so many people that got in this business that are not in this business because they got in for the wrong reasons. If you want this business to be a career and you want to make a lot of money at it, you can do anything you want to do.
Yeah.
You just have to set yourself up for true success.
That was like in radio. We had people that worked in radio, and then there were people in radio.
Oh, right.
There were radio people.
Sure.
There was a difference. People who lived and breathed it every day, similar to what you're doing with your business. My question is, how from going to a singing emphasis and motivation to mortgages, was that something when you got into it, you're like, oh, this feeds my soul? Was that what?
Yeah, I will tell you I love problem solving. That just fuels my bucket. I love a good mystery, all of those things. I love to try to, the puzzles, how do you, I don't know, those little toys to try to figure them out.
Sure. Yeah.
All those things. That's what a mortgage is, right? You give me all the data and I have to figure out how to make this into an approval. And that's how I was built 22 years ago in my 20s, and that's all I know. And so that's what I still do to this day. And to think my first loan was, I still remember it to this day. I was at the office, 20-something years old, and I was staying late, and the phone rang, and I picked it up. And it was an opportunity where it was a loan that got denied, and I said, I'm going to figure this bad boy out.
Oh, wow.
And did I not figure it out? And who knew that real estate agent was attached to 15 other real estate agents? And that was my first opportunity, kickstarted my career. And she and I are still friends to this day. She's having me at a function here at the end of June, which is kind of exciting. And she's like, hey, just to let you know, that was 19 years ago. I was like, we're not that old at all, that kind of thing. And so it's awesome to know how to do loans and how to do them the right way for the right reasons.
Were you still in ops then?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I was in ops. And so I was in ops for a really long time. And I loved the challenge. I was able, give me more families to be able to process their loans. And they did give me a red pen back in the day. Everything was paper. It kind of reminds me of like the Brady Bunch storylines where they were trying to get the plans, over to so-and-so. He's on the bike with the big tube or whatever. That's how I was back in the day, trying to get these underwriting files that were red and green to FedEx in time for them to be mailed out to get approved or sent to the underwriters by the next day. Now everything is paperless, which is a huge win. But just to think back, all the things we used to do, to be able to do loans. But again, doing loans the right way for the right reasons, I think is important. And making sure that you take your license seriously and you do things the truthful way is really important.
So your whole career started with a rogue phone call.
It did. Yeah. And actually, the worst things in my life have ended up being the best things. Mm-hmm. So I think 2008 was not a good time for many of us. Yeah. I was the first to go under. I was still very young. And my company I worked with was the first to go under. And so that meant I was the first open at the next company. So when every mortgage company closed down shop, my doors were open. And that's what kickstarted me for having a branch. And I'm really kind of blessed for the crazy 2008 timeframe.
I remember you telling me a story about going to a seminar or a ceremony. I'm not sure who, maybe it was CMG. But the person speaking that was getting all the accolades, you said you were in the back of the room and you said, "Oh, yeah, I'm going to be that someday."
Yeah, so that was when I just became an originator. So I decided to say, you know what? I've always been on stage. I've always been front of the computer, not behind the computer. And so I have a little more confidence. Getting back to loving yourself and feeling good about who you are and confident in your abilities. It took me a little bit to get that from a business standpoint, but I was like, you know what? I know my craft. I now am able to do what I do best, which I think is build rapport, make connections, and get out there. And so that's when I converted from ops to sales. And I remember my dad, he's now deceased now, but I was a little nervous and he flew down to Nashville. We grew up in New England. He flew down to Nashville and I had this old garage sale dining room table. I can still remember it. And he stopped up at the gas station. He took all these maps. And he figured out where all the real estate agents were, offices were. And he circled all these maps, right? To think of maps. Remember back in the day, you could get them at the gas station. And so he laid them all on this coffee table and he showed me all these circles were all around this certain area. And he said, this is opportunity. This is the opportunity for you to make a difference here within Middle Tennessee. And I had to see it because I started to question my abilities there. And after I saw that with his help, we just started making phone calls. The worst thing anybody can ever tell you is no. That's it, right? Yeah. And what if they say no? Somebody else may possibly tell you yes. And so you just continue. It's similar to the music business, right? You're going to get 10 no's before you even get maybe a maybe.
Probably hundreds of no's.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And so went out with the same idea and it just kind of built from there. And so, yes, I was with my first year. I was able to, maybe after a couple of years, I was able to win the production trip or the winning of the trip because you sold so much. And I think I was the last to win the award. And I looked up and I said, I don't know how to be him or her. They're just serving so many people that just seems so overwhelming. I don't have an understanding of it. And then I realized after just deciding to go to lunch with them and dinner with them that they're just like you and I. Yeah. And so who knew that so many years later that I would be the gal that was now the number one position.
That's so true with people.
Kind of a cool thing.
In different, facets of life, different levels of life, they really do. Everybody just puts their pants on one leg at a time.
So true. Yeah. So true. I mean, I do think that it is how hungry are you to want it? Right. You have to have the drive to want something a little bit more. And we're all deserving of that. And we're so worthy of having whatever we want, and if you want to be number one, go for it. And guess what? I think you said, if you aim for the moon, you land among the stars. Yeah. Hey, we did it. We're still there.
So you got to shoot high and, understand that that's a Cardone thing, the 10X rule that I always talk about. And it makes a lot of sense that if you don't, I want to make $1 million this year. Okay, shoot for 10. Because if you fall short of that, that's good. If you fall short of $1 million, then you're not hitting your goal.
Right.
So that's the idea that I have for, 10,000 downloads. So if I hit 1,000, great. That's where we could start monetizing.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Is it 10,000 is when?
10,000 is what I'm shooting for. I mean, that'll take, unless you're in a really niche podcast. For example, I've got, I'm part of a podcast that does beer tasting. I think there's a lot of potential with that one.
Yeah.
Anything that's got a wide swath of hobbyist type of passion things. The Marvel podcast, I was looking at the numbers the other day. That one fell by the wayside, but man, in 11 episodes, it racked up a lot of downloads.
Very cool.
Yeah. So I'm like, I got to start that one back up
Yeah.
because there's something there. For a business podcast like this, I knew from the get-go it was going to take a while to get the plane off the ground.
Yeah. And again, I do think that there's a place for these. I think you being so kind to join forces with me with the multiple podcasts that I do, it's only made me better in other aspects of my life. And so I'm very grateful for all those. And those that are not doing podcasts, they should definitely do them because it makes you just grow faster. It makes you step out of your comfort zone into places that are, kind of scary for sure. But having you on our side it makes it a lot easier.
Maybe I need to push you more. I'll figure it out. But we have the new podcast that just came out, The Real Estate Beat.
Yes, I actually really love that one. It's a lot of fun. Only because that's such one of my passions, it's music. And those two guys, Andy Levitri and Paul Scott are both good buddies of mine, and excited to see them grow. I think you get into your career where you want to see other people shine bright. You've hit a lot of goals. I've hit a lot of my goals. I've been able to hit a lot of my financial goals, my production goals, all the things. And so, a goal this year is just to make it through mentally stable. Yeah. And hey, can I get a little physically fit along the way? But it's cool. This one's a fun one for sure. And
they've taken an interesting angle to what they do, both being, Paul being in the music business, Andy being a former NFL champ. And it's interesting because they have the sports and entertainment division of Keller Williams.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's interesting because I mean that could work here. You got a lot of people in the sports industry, the football, soccer, baseball.
They said, not just Music City, Sports City. We were getting so many different sports, groups here for sure.
And their whole angle is Paul knows the music business. There's so many people in the music business.
Oh, yeah.
He can relate to them. He understands their grind. And Andy, for sure, with people, he just knows people in the sporting business, and it makes sense.
Yeah, there's people that are trying to go to the next level, whether they're triple, double or single. I don't know how all that works, but I definitely know that there's a lot of uniqueness when it comes to just being in the sports. You get drafted, but that doesn't mean that you're staying there, right? There's multiple levels when it comes to the music world. You get a W-2 here, 1099 there. You had a job, you lost, the job. How does that all work when it comes to being able to purchase your first house possibly and or become an investor? So we talk a lot about that.
We had Chris Hope on the podcast. He's someone we should probably get on the new podcast. Yeah. He's a Super Bowl winner. He played with the Eagles. The Steelers. I'm sorry. I'm like probably saying, the Pats versus the Giants. But the Steelers, he played for. Played for the Titans. I don't want to say the Falcons. And he talked about how many people that get into the business and, getting drafted is instant millionaire, right? And they just blow all their money.
I know, yeah.
Shaq told a story about that. His first year.
I think he's amazing.
He's amazing.
I judged him. I think I just judged all people, which is terrible. You shouldn't judge a book by any cover and or their profession, etc. And I got to listen to him at a summit I went to. And wow, is he impressive.
That was a recent one, right?
Yeah, I went to Vegas recently. Yeah. I got to hear some amazing folks. And probably that's what kickstarted my excitement to get back. I think, you have to get motivated. Some of you, may have a coach, you may not. You may have a therapist, you may not. But if you can hear somebody that has a great story about, overcoming adversity, and or for him, he's got some great kids. They don't get any of this money unless they have 3 degrees, really? It's impressive. And do you know that he's a doctor? his mama wanted him to be a doctor, and he has his doctorate now. And he also is a DJ. So that evening he was DJing it out, and he actually was really good. It was a cool night and a cool experience for
he
sure.
just embraces being himself. I mean, you got no choice.
He said 2 years ago or this past year, he said, you know what, I'm just going to let go of celebrity and I'm just going to be your average Joe. So he drives himself around. His only entourage is some kid in his 20s who's probably, a fourth of his height type of thing.
Yeah.
And that's just how they do life now. So.
Well, I imagine if you see Shaq coming your way, you just, that's Shaq. All right, cool, man. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. I mean, it's Shaq.
Yeah.
You can't hate on the guy.
Oh, I mean, no. And I was quite impressed, for sure on him. And there's so many people, the stories of others that have done it before you. And again, it may not be in the mortgage business. It may not be in the voiceover business or whatever industry you're in, but they can shape you into building something amazing for your own business, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've never studied mortgage business ever. I've studied real estate, grocery stores, hospitality, all things but mortgages. And it's amazing that when you become the CEO of your own business, you just are doing CEO type of work, whether it's the same stuff we all do. So it's kind of magical.
And a lot of what I do, I would imagine, is similar to what you did in the beginning, because from what Monty always told me was finding a good mortgage person is finding the one that really wants to partner with you.
Yeah.
And understands that if they drop the ball, it makes them look bad. Mm-hmm. They're the one bringing the deal to the table. In the car business, it was the salespeople that were on the front lines, getting the right product and everything. And the F&I person, we would just drop deals at their door.
Sure.
And they just got to process them. But in your case, you have to, they can't be made to look bad. Just don't make me look bad.
Yeah, I'm
right?
surprised so many people hang and do business with just their friends. I would, I say, interview me. Mm-hmm. Let me work hard for the job opportunity to become your lender. And so you'll find that I say a lot of the time, I'm so grateful for our friendship, but also our partnership. I cannot be a partner with some of these folks 5, 10, 15 years if I don't know what I'm talking about.
Right.
And they rely on me to study my craft on a regular basis. So I am very knowledgeable when it comes to, all things mortgages. So I think that's important.
And with voiceover, I have a concept called steak versus hamburger.
Okay.
And steak clients versus hamburger clients.
Fancy.
And, right. There's some people that they'll pay you a lot of money. Some people that will lowball you. But the gold is always in the relationships. And a lot of people in that industry will just kind of throw off the hamburger clients. Mm-hmm. But I said, a bunch of hamburger clients will pay for a lot of things. Yeah, you got to work for them, and you got to grind. And eventually, every now and then, you get the steak clients that pay you a ton of money.
Sure.
But there's a whole magnitude. But the lowballing clients are what they always kind of just piddle away. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, don't do that, because it's relationships, guys.
No. I look back over my career, I serve a lot of families, my personal self with my magical team that I have. I'm only as good as people I surround myself. So they're a huge part of that. But looking at all the families that we serve, the real estate agents, it's the 80-20 rule, right? We get a lot from 20, but I get one from 80%. What I'm saying is, I helped 400 real estate agents with one client, and that may have been their only client. That's 400 transactions. If I didn't love on all people, all homes, all credit profiles, I wouldn't have those 400 transactions. Some people within my industry just hope to hit 100 or 50 or 25, families within the year. And so to know that is something that is a passion of mine, I think that's why I think about just throwing the net out there and serving the community in a big way. And then you'll find your people. Greg P's another friend of mine, and he's great at coaching and training all things logistics and something mental. I got to learn more about it. But he says, and one thing that was so impactful is there's your people and there's not your people. And you got to work really hard to find your people. And when you find your people, magic happens. Yeah. And then you and I, sometimes we work so hard to prove the not people to be our people, and they're just never going to be our people. Yeah. And it sounds like a big, tongue tie, but that's been huge this year for me. I've spent a lot of time deciding that, it's okay that you don't like me. It's okay that you don't see my work worth, and it's okay that you don't want to work with me.
Right.
You're just not going to get all the perks anymore. And those are going to be saved for the people that actually understand me, like me, trust me, all the things.
That means in clients and culture. And the company
and
culture,
and that's referral partners. I mean, at the end of the day, the consumer is a one time, and they may purchase, another 2 years, 5 years. I'm always working to have clients for life. But some of the referral partners, there's just some people that want certain things, and they're just not understanding there's a bigger play with all that we provide.
Oh, very cool. So moving forward, I'm going to fire this off. It is the time. What's the one thing these days keeping you up other than my voice on TV?
Courtney loves when I say that, doesn't she? She loves me. Courtney loves me.
She does.
She does. I love her. She's so good.
She is.
So I would say that there's just not enough time in the day. I mean, I really just wish there was more.
The truth.
I mean, I just wish there was more time.
And energy.
Yeah. I mean, the hardest part is setting those healthy boundaries and saying, the last couple of days I had to push what I was going to do for me to do something else because of the time of the day. And I just can't continue to do that, right? And so I just wish that there was a little more time in the day so I could do all the things. I'm a full-time mom, a full-time business owner. I'm a full-time gal that's thinking really big and wants to execute bigger. I want to do more for our community. It fills my heart, and it's a drug for me to be able to see others smile. And so, I wish I had more energy and more time in the day, all the things. So
yeah, that's comes down to duplicating yourself. I'm in a similar spot.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm realizing I have some amazing team members, but again, they're just not you, right? And you can duplicate yourself, but you're the one who wants to do all the things. Like, I do genuinely want to do all the things, and I'm going to work hard to try to figure out those. Certain things pay the roof over my head.
Right.
And so I have to do those. And I love those, actually. Other things bring joy. You see my smile. There's certain times that if you see some of my videos, you see me smiling. I'm just doing things that I'm super passionate about. You can just see a different glow about me. That's where I'd love to get to. And if that eventually allows me to cover the roof, hopefully my roof is paid for by then, but type of thing.
Yeah.
But again, I wish, there was an opportunity just to do everything. So it is a little hard, but we just kind of keep trying.
What is the magic wand moment for you? Like where, I always talk about people being in our have to years, right? I feel like I'm in my have to / get to. I have to do this.
Sure.
I have to make a living, but I get to do what I do. I love what I do. The get to years truly is, okay, I just want to, have a place on the beach. I want to be able to travel at any given time I want. What does that look like for you? 5-10 years from now, what do you want to be doing?
Yeah, well, I could change all the things, but
of course, yeah.
I think I'm in the same setting. I feel like God gave me a lot of talents that I should continue to use them. My daughter's 10 years old. I should enjoy the time that I have with her. I understand that there's only so many summers left.
Yeah.
And I should do all those things. And I will tell you that I'm really excited because this year we're doing that. We're going to start to live. I have that ability and the opportunity to be able to stop what I'm doing and continue to just live life.
Right.
And live my best life, which is great. But I still feel like I want to do more. And some people say, why do you want to make more money? And I say, well, let me tell you. My mom got diagnosed with cancer a couple years ago. And she raised 4 amazing kids for all of us to be great. Nobody went down the wrong path. They were all hungry to follow her rules and do all the things and really become super successful. Mm-hmm. And 2 are disabled vets, and 1 is a stay-at-home mom now, and another is continuing to grow his career within the Army. I've got another amazing sister that is raising her son and living her best life. I continue to strive to continue to grow and do all the things. She's now living her best life. My mom is.
Yeah.
And if she's here for 1 more year, 2 more years, 25 more years, I feel like she's deserving of everything I can give her for the best life that she can live. She brings sparkle to my day and raised us for me to be where I am today. And so I owe her all the best. So yes, I want to make more money so I can give her even more. I think it's not about us sometimes. It's about what we can do with that and really make a difference out there for the people that we love.
It's a freedom tool.
Totally. Yeah. It's a freedom tool.
It's one of the things that I've discovered in the last 7 years, that once we've had a little bit of margin in our lives, it really does come in handy to be able to do stuff, and kids may appreciate it or not. The camping thing, not so much. But camping, Courtney and I love it. We want to get a big rig and travel the country. And
I think raising kids are hard when it comes to now. I was brought up with two parents that were super hardworking parents. I had 3 jobs when I was 18, making $10 an hour. I was never given anything, not $1. I was given work ethic. I was given the training on how to shine bright, and work hard for anything I wanted in life. Now that I have those things and more than my parents could give us as kids, I'm just not going to hand over things to my child. She has to work for those as well. And it's interesting. She comes home from school and she talks about this or that. And I'm just amazed at some of the stuff that's discussed in school. And, it starts at home, I think, about working hard. I see even hiring people within a certain age group, the entitlement of certain things, and no, my kid is not going to be entitled, even though she has the ability to have anything she wants in life. No, you're going to work hard for that, and so I kind of the shack rule, like you just don't get my money. Now keep in mind, he's got lots of money. Yeah. He's making them become something. And I think that's super key. The owner of the company I work for, he has 4 amazing boys. I'm friends with all of them. Before they could even work for the firm that I represent, they had to have a labor-intensive job and also a serving job. Huge. They could understand how to associate and connect with people and what it means to work hard, and get dirt under your fingernails. And I think that's a huge, and that reminded me that is what Aubrey's going to do too.
Yeah. Which
so
is okay.
It is. I think it's important, and I think it starts with us as parents. I think when we're busy and we're business owners and it's easy to just say, yeah, and really not focus on that. But it's important for us to really dedicate our time and efforts into making sure that they know that you and I did not get where we are today just because somebody handed us anything. No. We worked for every dollar that we've made. And I think that's important.
And it's not a bad thing. I mean, my kids, I probably could do a better job at instilling a work ethic. I mean, they're good workers when you need them to do stuff, but
sure.
I'm just trying to catch up from radio since the past 5-6 years. So
yeah, I mean, I think, and also let's just remind ourselves, we're just going to do the best we can, right? I mean, we are human. We're just going to do the best we can, and so I think that's important. But if we have the ability, some girl came home or told Aubrey, all you have to do is tell your mom that you need $100 and she'll hand you $100. And I was like, that's not how this works in this household. Right. You can
always ask.
You can always ask, and the answer is going to be no. But what are you going to do to earn that? $100 type of thing. So it's too funny.
That's crazy, man. And it's funny because money, I'm truly convinced, will amplify elements of your personality. Right. And I got to spend time recently this past weekend with the owner of Dream Motor Group for the first time and just kind of hang out and see how he is and cut up. And I haven't laughed that hard for years.
Right.
Just the antics. I felt like I was a teenager again.
So fun.
I'm not, they were rich. I'm not. And but he is extremely generous with what he does. We went out to a place in the Woodlands where a bunch of kids were congregating. They were going to prom. Uh-huh. And he goes, stay here, watch this. And he pulls up and he flashes a badge. Yeah. And he goes, hey, I just want to make sure you guys are all sober and you're not doing any, anything that's kind of funny. And all the kids are deer in the headlights, like looking at him going, this guy could be legit, He's like, I'm just kidding, He pulls out a wad of cash. He says, tonight's a really special night in your lives. I want you to have a really good time. Oh, yeah.
I get goosebumps right there. I love that.
He gave him $1,000.
Wow.
And they were like, dude, you serious? He's like, yeah, take it.
Yeah. That's an
That's how
impact.
he is.
That's an impact. Yeah.
So
Can definitely make a difference for somebody. I love doing that. I don't have that kind of money, but I think even something so small for another makes a huge impact. And if you can continue to pay it forward, I think it all comes back to you full swing.
it's just, the attitude of make someone's day.
Yeah.
If we all did that once a day,
Yeah.
man, what a difference it would make.
I was saying I was leaving my house the other day, and this person walked by. Not one smile, not one hi. I was like, well, you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, but I'm going to smile. Hi, I stop. I always stop at the crosswalkers or crossroad walkers or whatever, the people that move the traffic around. And I always just say thank you so much. They get, I was going to say a bad word, but they are not loved on as much as they should, and they're standing there in the cold and the rain and all the things. It's our job to try to make another person's day, and it's going to help us later in life.
Well, how do people find and follow you?
Yes. Hey, I would love to help serve all of our local community. And, I'm also loving on all female business owners, fierce and fabulous females, business owners. And so we have a great group called Executors that we get together every second Wednesday within our CMG training facility in Franklin. And really excited because one of our friends is coming and going to be a speaker. Angela Prophet is going to be one of our speakers.
Nice.
Yeah. So excited to have her with us. And so we talk, we network, and we have business spotlight, and we have a keynote speaker, and everybody usually gets a business gift when they join us. So that's a huge win. But also love serving our local community with all their mortgage financing needs. So yes, they can reach us always at 615-456-4456. Always giggle because I'm in the music business, so it's 456-4456. 456.
You need to come up with a jingle.
I do. Yeah. I've got the jingle down. And then if on social, I think it's just CareyAnn Cyr on Facebook, and then Mortgages by CareyAnn on Instagram.
And that's CYR.
CYR, yes.
It's not cry. It's not sear like you sear a steak. CYR.
Yeah, there it is.
Well, actually, I guess you could say sear.
It is sear. Yeah, it's like serious. So so it's not sire, it's not cry, it's all the things. But so I'm like Cher. I just kind of 86 the last name, so you just call me CareyAnn. But again, on social, it's CareyAnn Cyr. Yep.
That's right. Well, there you go.
Thank you, Jim, for having me. This was fun. Always.
Absolutely. Always a good time, always a great conversation, full of wisdom nuggets, all that fun stuff. And of course, follow us along at whatsyourproblempodcast.com. Like, subscribe, share, rate, review. Share it out. If you like the podcast and this episode resonated with you, share it on Facebook. Whatever social media platform works for you. Hey, do me a favor. Leave a 5-star review. If it has to be anything less than a 5-star, check in with me and see how I can make it better before you do that. I just ask that
yes, let's not do that.
And there you go. So follow CareyAnn. All the information and links will be in the description. CareyAnn, once again, thanks for being here.
Thanks for being my friend, my Jim.